Welcome back to the 2024 edition of the Marlins Minor League Super Pod here on the Fish on First podcast channel. I'm Eli Sussman once again, just to get you up to speed. In case you missed it, haven't listened to it yet, part one of this conversation covering the lowest levels of this Marlins organization, high A Beloit on down, is available on the same channel. Be sure to listen to that before getting into part two of the conversation between Alex Carver and Kevin Barral, going through notable performers from this past season at AA Pensacola and AAA Jacksonville. So this is part two of the Minor League Super Pod. Enjoy.
Alrighty, moving up to AA. Let's start with the relievers here. We got to show love to some of these relievers. And I'm very excited to talk about Josh Ekness, who had one hell of a season, man. Starting at low A and finishing the year at AA Pensacola, just shoved every way he went. A .69 ERA with low A, a 1.65 ERA at high A, and then unfortunately, it was only 4 games, a 9 ERA at Pensacola, but still, I think, who cares? I think 2025 will look a lot better for him. This guy throws 100. He's nasty. He's a closer. I don't think there's another way to say it, Carver. This is a guy who, if he keeps doing what he's doing, I think I could see him maybe on the Miami Marlins in 2025 at some point. This is a bullpen in the Marlins that they're able to find guys, and they've been a top 10 bullpen for a couple of years now. So he could definitely add on to that. And this is a guy who I'm very, very high on in Josh Ekness. You can't ask for more than a guy who's batting 100 and finishing the year with a ton of saves, 34. How many saves? 5 saves on the season. More of a high relief guy, more high leverage, but I could definitely see closer stuff in him.
Yeah, I think he'll get a spring training invite, honestly, just based on everything that he did. I don't think the Marlins are going to bring in too many high name free agents or anything like that in terms of where they're going with the organization. So I think that this guy deserves a spring training invite, pitched at 3 levels, made it all the way up to AA. I think he deserves a spring training invite. Probably would be one of the first cuts, but it doesn't matter. He gets the experience, right? So I think that this is a guy that earned the spring training invite. I think he should get it. Like you said, high 90s to triple digits with a sick breaking pitch, really good breaking pitch. Those are his 2 weapons. Really good. Doesn't let the moment rattle him at all. This is a guy that will be damn good if he continues on his current track. And what the intriguing part about him is, Kevin, is that as the season went along, his velo got even better. Like upwards of the levels. Like he started at Jupiter, he went to Beloit, and then he ended in Pensacola. Like the innings didn't wear on him. His velo average velo got even better as the season went along, which is crazy. So it's a guy that is definitely a high leverage relief ceiling that has damn good command, and that wipeout breaking pitch is very good for him. And then he can climb the ladder as well with that fastball that is just nasty. So this guy's going to be really good. I really like Josh Ekness. This guy earns his spot in our top 30, and I think he deserves a spring training invite.
100% agree. Another guy who probably deserves a spring training invite is Nigel Belgrave, in that same box, same similar area as someone like an Ekness, high velo, maybe not high leverage, more like middle leverage, but still, he put up some great numbers with low A and high A. Struggled at the AA level, but still, Carver. This is a guy who kind of impressed us as the year went on, and 22 years old, still long way to go. And I'm excited to see what he does at the AA level this season for the Marlins.
Yeah, same thing. Also 3 levels, kind of followed that same path as Ekness. I think they were called up not too long after each other.
They were all called up at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, they were called up pretty much at the exact same time. So also a reliever, doesn't have nearly the fiery velo that Ekness does, but still, I think this guy has decent stuff. This guy had 10 saves on the year, so they put him in some save situations. They were confident in him and his ability to pitch in high leverage. Don't take the 13.1 innings at AA as anything other than a cup of coffee. So I'm not really looking at that 6.75 ERA that he had there. Command and control, I think, is pretty damn good. This guy is solid. I think that he has 3 very good pitches that he can throw at pretty much any time. He can also, I think, go multiple innings. He can go 1 to 2 innings at any time. So I like Belgrave. I think that he's good. I think he's a good middle relief piece, and a guy, I agree, I think we could see him in spring training as well.
Another name I want to talk about is Justin Storm, finishing the season at AA. Struggled there. Again, only literally one game, so I'm not looking at that. But you look at what he did with high A Beloit, a 2.5 ERA, a 14.77 K per nine. A little struggle, some struggles over with the walks per nine, but still, I mean, a 1.86 FIP, and then low A, I mean, with a 1.41 ERA, and something that the Marlins seem to be doing a lot of is kind of pushing these relievers really quickly. Something they did with Justin Storm. Again, he's a collegiate guy, so makes sense that they're pushing him as quick as they are. But Carver, this is a guy who towards the back end of the season is when he kind of caught our attention. So it wasn't even during the season. It was towards the end when that guy caught our eye. And right now he's in the Arizona Fall League. And I don't know how many starts he's made, or not starts, appearances he's made, but solid pitcher. I like what he's doing. I like the velo. I like the strikeout stuff. So, overall, I think this is a guy who may crack our honorable mentions in the next list, or even bottom end of the top 30.
Huge lefty that's getting pushed quickly. So that's what you like about Justin Storm. Huge left-handed pitcher. He's like 6'8". This guy's massive. He's a huge dude. When we first saw him in the FCL, Kevin, I think we saw him a couple times in FCL when he first got here last year. I was kind of worried about his ability to control the body, like we talked about with Bradenberg. But he did it damn well this year. So he made a lot of improvements this year with body control. And I think he made a lot of adjustments on the mound as well in terms of his delivery and controlling himself. So I think that's kind of what led to his command and control improvements. This guy has looked really good. I agree with you. He's looked really good this year. He's getting pushed pretty quickly. He's now facing off against some of the top prospects in baseball and some more advanced prospects than him, and mostly in the Arizona Fall League. So I'm intrigued to see what this guy does next season. I think he'll start at Double-A, but I think this is a solid, possibly high leverage relief ceiling guy, but definitely has middle relief opportunities, I think, in this guy's floor for sure.
Definitely agree there. I want to talk about Jacob Miller, who definitely took us by surprise. He started the season in high A, but I mean, you would have thought that between him and Carson Milbrandt was a little bit ahead, just given he had reached Beloit before. But you look at it now, Carver, Milbrandt's still in Beloit, and Jacob Miller ended the season in Double-A, and he actually pitched pretty well with a 3.4 ERA. And even, some got a little unlucky with when then he had the 3.2 FIP, didn't walk too many guys, something that he really improved on, lowering that walk rate from a 3.7 to a 2.7 and then to a 2.3 at Double-A. So just talk to us a little bit about Jacob Miller. Not a guy who's going to surprise you with a velo or anything, but just a guy who's going to get outs and going to really get some swing and miss going.
Yeah, so much improvement this year. And, again, we'll point to it again, having it between the ears, knowing the adjustments that you have to make in order to be better. This guy, the new regime got a hold of him and said, hey, let's turn that 4-seamer into a 2-seamer so you get more ground balls. And that's exactly what he did. And look at his ground ball rate this year, which is great. So, like you said, it's not a guy that's going to blow you away with velo. It's not a guy that's going to blow you away with stuff, but it is a guy that's going to command and control the lower half of the zone very, very well, get quick outs and eat innings. And that's exactly the guy that he has become. That was his MO from spring training. We have interviews with him. I wrote an article about him saying exactly that he just wants to get a lot of outs. And that's exactly what he did. So gets a lot of outs, goes deep into games, knows himself, knows his stuff, and knows exactly how to attack guys. And I think that this guy is very good at staying in the zone and getting weak contact. And that's his biggest strength. And that's exactly what he did this year. So I think this guy's going to be at the upper minors again next year. Maybe get a spring training invite. I think he's also pitched like he's deserved it, but we'll see what happens.
Kemp Alderman's currently in the Arizona Fall League, and he's absolutely killing it. He's raking up there, but he had a pretty solid season for the most part in minor league baseball. 120 WRC plus with Jupiter. Got off to not a slow start, but a late start to the season due to an injury, and then slowed down a little bit in Beloit, just under the league average, 92 WRC plus. But strikeout percentage of 22%, 23%. I like Alderman, what I've seen from him this season so far. It's definitely a lot of questions. Finished the season in Double-A, so very quick riser, at least in that sense. But, defensively, it's still a little bit questions. I don't know what the data ball really looks like. It's a very power-heavy profile that I believe the strikeout percentage will go up to at least 25, 28%, which would be a little bit risky. But overall, Carver, I mean, we got to give credit where credit is due. The guy improved, and he found a way to at least slip into our I believe he ended up in the top 30, if not the honorable mentions.
Yeah, it was a decent climb. And then what he's doing in the Arizona Fall League now is great. So we like that. We like the power potential. Absolutely. 100%. We love the power potential. Good size and good projection for even more size. Only 22. So, getting in the gym more, getting around major league guys, you can get put on even more size, more power, which is great. I think this will be a guy that strikes out a lot, if I'm honest with you. I think this is a guy that will stick only to certain defensive positions. That's the other thing about him. Does he have the arm and stamina to stick in right field? I don't know. We'll see. I think this is definitely a corner guy for sure. Maybe, possibly moving into first base, honestly, if I'm being honest. I don't know if he has exactly what it needs to stick in the corner outfield spots, but we'll see. But what you really like is the power potential. What I would say for him that needs to stick, and I think that's what the Marlins are trying to get him now, is the ability to get more reps and be able to deal with a full season's worth of reps. So that's what I would say for him is the stamina is kind of what sticks out to me. The ability to go out there every day at 100%, the ability to go out there every day at 100% physically, which is not easy, and then mentally as well, which also isn't easy. So those are the couple of things for Kemp that I think need to matriculate as he gets older and rises through the levels. But, I mean, he played a full season, and right now he's in Arizona absolutely hitting tanks. So he's proving to us right now that potentially he's on the track to do that.
We have to talk about the minor league, the Double-A player of the year, which is Joe Mack. I mean, Carver, the improvements this guy's made from one year to another, I think, are the biggest. I believe he was named minor league player of the year. If not, it was Sonoho. It was one of the two. But either way, Joe Mack with a 129 WRC plus at Double-A Pensacola with a 241 batting average, a 778 OPS. He finished the season with 24 home runs between two levels, 22 at Double-A, 2 at a high A. 25% strikeout rate. I think that's something that he could lower a little bit. Definitely with a 9.7 walk, it definitely is encouraging. Didn't put the ball in play too much. It was a lot more power than contact. But overall, Carver, I mean, Joe Mack looked really damn good, and he's making the case to make a very strong push to at least make an attempt at cracking the opening day roster. And I think at the moment he will be starting the season in AAA if he doesn't make that roster.
Yeah, power hitting catcher that basically caught on very, very well after those adjustments that he made with his stance and approach. We asked him about that in the award ceremony at that game. It was something that he started very early on this season, and really it just worked out so well for him, kind of widened his stance a little bit. He's a little bit more advanced in the way of plate coverage. He's fighting off more tough pitches. And it's a guy that really, really has shown great athleticism, more athleticism than ever this year, which is kind of what led to his success. 21 years old, playing at Double-A, lefty hitting, righty throwing, good defense. Offense really showed it this year. Even if he doesn't hit for a great average, if he's putting out 20 balls a year, I'm okay with it. I honestly think that this is likely the best catching prospect. He's turned into the best catching prospect the Marlins have seen in quite some time. So this is a great season, a breakout season for Joe Mack. Earned every accolade that he got. If he doesn't, he's going to be in spring training. If he doesn't make the Marlins roster, we've got to see what happens with Banfield and other guys, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But this guy was one of the best offensive players at a low offensive position in the Marlins system. That speaks for itself. Very good season for Joe Mack. Breakout season. One of the best catching prospects the Marlins have had in a long time.
Yep, 100%. Johnny Olmstead's a name that has kind of stood out to me, Carver. I think it's a name that really gets to get short. Serviceable guy, nothing crazy. I think he's going to go play some winter ball as well. Over a 100 WRC plus at every stop he's made this season. Nothing too crazy, and maybe a nice little bench bat, a platoon player, but I think it was worth giving him the shot at down here at Double-A Pensacola with a 287 batting average. Ended there with the 804 OPS, 11 home runs at high A, 3 at the Double-A level. I think he'll start at Double-A, maybe a good chance that he does start at Triple-A. But overall, Johnny Olmstead, nice little draft pick that they got towards the end there out of USC. So I felt like it was worth noting. Anything you want to add there on him, but nice little solid player who I think defensively could definitely stick it short.
Yeah, they challenged the heck out of those 2023 draft guys, those older guys, those college guys from 2023 draft. They challenged the heck out of him. This was another guy. Played 3 levels, ended, like you said, at Double-A, and man, he looked pretty good. I mean, you can't be mad at what he showed there. But like you said, utility guy can play basically everywhere, all over the infield. So not bad. Good bat to ball. Low strikeout. So let's go. I mean, you need those kind of guys in the organization. You need those guys that you can lean on that are depthier guys, right? You need those kind of guys that aren't star prospects that are just going to be a guy that comes up and get some at bats off the bench. You need guys like that. And I think Olmstead could be one of those guys before long. it's decent stuff. It's really not bad at all. And I think he plays decent defense at least 2, possibly 3 positions. So I like him. I like Johnny Olmstead. I think that he is a good find for the Marlins out of the 19th round. Not bad.
Alrighty, wrapping it up here with AAA. Just over the hour mark. I'm surprised that we've kind of flown by this one a little bit quicker than the last one. So let's start at the catching position. Agustín Ramírez acquired in the Jazz Chisholm Jr. trade. He was the main piece acquired. I think we were all shocked, to say the least, when he was acquired by the Marlins as the main piece. But he was pretty good with the Marlins. He had a 112 WRC plus at a AAA level. Hit 5 home runs end of the year with about 25 home runs, I want to say, and overall between 3 levels, 22% strike, 262 batting average. He was good. I think where the struggles come are defensively. I don't think he'll stick at catcher. I think they'll give him a shot at the major league level catcher. But that guy, yeah, it's very, very, very rough. He is 40-man protected. He will be in the big league camp. He's only 23 years old, so still a long way to go. But I wouldn't be shocked if, at some point in 2025 he's called up and given a shot.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the Marlins are going to try to cling to him for whatever they can when it comes to making him a catcher. I think that will be a true challenge for them, though, because I think there's just such a long way to go. He just doesn't, to get the bat out of the way first, he doesn't do anything well at catcher. Like, literally, he doesn't do anything well. He doesn't receive. He doesn't throw. His mobility is not good. He just doesn't really do anything well to prove that he can stick at that position. What he does do well is on the other side of the ball, he hits absolute nukes. So you can't be mad about that. So I think this is a very defensively limited player, but I think it is a very good player when it comes to offensive projectability. There's really nothing too much left to prove in minor league baseball, Kevin, honestly, other than the fact that they may want to stick to, the extra year of control. That's pretty much it before they put him on the 26-man roster. So I think you'll probably see him a couple months into the season with the Marlins. But I think you'll probably see him at catcher to start with, but I think eventually he will move to first base.
Yeah, and then the other name we need to talk about a little bit is Will Banfield. I mean, this is a guy who last year hit over 26 home runs. I'm sorry. No, 23. Yeah, 23 home runs last year with AA Pensacola, I believe. No, he didn't. And then this year in AAA, just, man, looking like the Will Banfield we've been seeing the last couple of years. It felt like 2023 was an anomaly season. Defensively, he was fine. But Carver, this is a guy who they're going to have to make a choice with really, really soon because they now you have someone like a Ramírez, you have a Joe Mack, and then you have a Ryan Ignacio, who are all kind of pushing through the minor league system pretty quickly. What are you going to do with someone like a Will Banfield who, unfortunately, just doesn't seem to be getting it going offensively? And maybe that was just an anomaly season, but I wouldn't be shocked if he starts the season on the major league roster. I mean, he has the defense to do it. They need a catcher to add. I wouldn't be shocked if at the same time they do bring in a catcher that's not that will compete with Banfield. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely been a struggle, and he's been in this organization since 2018. So I would love to see him get a shot, but it doesn't seem like that's maybe going to happen after the year he had in AAA.
Yeah, unless he comes to spring training and really impresses, I would say that he probably is going to go back to AAA. What I would say, though, is that I think you're right, and I think we kind of saw the signs in the fact that he hit a lot of home runs, but he really didn't do anything else, right, in terms of his bat. I mean, he hit a lot of doubles, a lot of doubles and it was good power. A lot of doubles, a lot of home runs. But the walk rate was very low. He wasn't viewing pitches well at all. So he did make adjustments that helped him, especially in terms of the power department, but that was it. And then this year, against the highest level of minor league baseball, it just completely left him again. So is that going to happen? What's going to happen when he comes to Major League Baseball, right? Like what's going to happen there? Is he going to be a guy that can hit for anything at all? Like, you have to show something at the minor league level in order to, like, continuously in order to become a major leaguer. And this guy's just, I mean, he wasn't very good at all offensively before 2023. He had a great year in 2023 and broke out. And then this year, it's not that big of a jump to make to AAA. Yes, there's a little bit older guys playing there. Yes, at times you're playing against rehabbing major leaguers, but probably more often than any other level. But when you fall that far off from 25 home runs and 25 doubles or whatever it was to half of that, that's hard to see, hard to call it anything else other than a flash in the pan. And I hate to say that because Banfield's such a nice guy, but he needs to show continuous offensive prowess. Defense we know is great, but he needs to show up quite a bit more in terms of offensive prowess for us to really call him a Major League Baseball player.
Very excited to talk about Deyvison de los Santos, over 40 home runs on the season. This guy is a stud. We have him as the number 2 position player prospect in the org, in our system at least. So very excited to talk about him, Alex. Strikeouts still a little bit high, 20% with the Marlins. Still needs to work on a little bit of the bat to ball. The defense is actually pretty good at first base, so that's something that's going to help him. I think he's going to make a really good case to make the 26-man roster to begin the season. I know some of you think otherwise, but I think there's a good shot he really does make it. And I don't know, man. I love Deyvison de los Santos. I think this is a really good prospect. I know there's a lot of questions with him. It's not as safe as a offensive profile, someone like an Agustín Ramírez who gives you a little bit of both of the contact and then the power. But I mean, de los Santos, I think he's really good. And I mean, you're getting a guy who could hit 30 home runs at the major league level right away.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would say that this guy is a prodigious power player, but there also is a ton of swing and miss. So it's a guy that's going to frustrate with the swing and miss, but it's also a guy that's going to easily put out home runs. So, and that's not even really a product of the PCL or the International League. Like the home runs that he was hitting they would have been out in many major league stadiums. Like the home runs that he was hitting weren't even close. They weren't wall scrapers. They weren't those home runs that are like, oh yeah, at Lone Depot Park, that's not a home run. These were true home runs that were going a very long way at every level that he played at this year. So this guy is prodigious power. Before he got to the Marlins, it was good average. For those of you guys that are into batting average, and it was even good, decent walk rates too. Got to the Marlins, got to the Shrimp. It kind of fell off a little bit in terms of those two things, in terms of average and in terms of walks. But of course, it's learning, getting around a new organization. There's mental things that go into that as well, which we've pointed to multiple times on this show. But yeah, I think as this guy gets comfortable within the Marlins organization, I don't think it's going to be long before you see him at the major league level. I would say they play the same game, Kevin, and probably make it a couple months into the season before they call him up.
Alrighty. I don't think anyone expected us to talk about Jacob Berry, but we have to talk about Jacob Berry, who kind of went into the we have our statuses, our private statuses, and we have him into that like kind of a stud status, Carver. I mean, he really showed up, and there's no other way to put it. I mean, the guy forced his way at the AAA, and he kind of was a stud at AAA too. It was a short stint, but this is a guy who's probably going to get another spring training invite, and let's see what he shows. I know the defense really isn't there, but I mean, this is a guy who we had a very long conversation to potentially add into the top 30. We made it an honorable mention, but he went on a streak that was really freaking good. And just if you want to talk a little bit more about Jacob Berry and why you think he's in stud status now.
So it's no defense at all. Let's just make that clear. And it's low athleticism, right? So I don't think this is a guy that is very athletic at all. I think it's a first base DH. But man, when he swings the bat as best as he can, he is pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say very good. He is pretty good when he swings the bat as best as he possibly can. The Marlins drafted him for his bat. They knew what they were getting defensively. At least I think they did. They tried to make it work at other positions like third base and outfield. It didn't work. It's not going to work. I think they know that now. But man, this guy just needs stability. He needs stability in terms of where he's going to play. They need to put him at first base and just leave him there. I've said that for a long time. And they need to focus on his bat only. Since the Marlins have started to do that, he has been better. So I think that if the Marlins continue on that path of only focusing on this guy as a bat, he will be good. When they started to do that, that's when he started to be good. So I hope that the Marlins continue with his same trajectory as next season goes along. If they do that and he continues to show a 10% walk rate with, under a 15% K rate, a decent average and decent power, I think that this is a guy that could serve the Marlins before long, maybe as a bench bat sometime in 2025. They need to focus on the offense only.
Yep. If it wasn't for his injury, I do think Victor Mesa Jr. would have been a major leaguer, Carver, and you would have gone a pretty long look, especially with the injury to Dane Myers, unfortunately for him. Victor Mesa Jr. would have been the starting center fielder for the Marlins for God knows how long, but unfortunately, another just below league average season for him at AAA really got slowed down towards the end, right before the injury. Who knows how much of it was due to an injury. 13 home runs, did strike out just over 20%, which is fine. Had a 749 OPS, 319 on base, 259 batting average. This was his first taste of AAA baseball at all. He got off to a hell of a start. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And there was a really good shot I could have seen him making to the major leagues. But I don't think he'll start at the major league level, unfortunately, just due to the injury. I think they'll keep him at AAA just for a bit. I don't think he'll be over there for a very long time if he gets off to a nice start. But he could also make a very nice impression during spring training and really crack the roster. I mean, there is room in that roster for him, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just needs to stay healthy. It sucks so bad that he got hurt. I felt so bad for him. Missed like most of the second half. It sucks. And it really wasn't even an injury that he could have done anything about. It's just a freak injury. So it sucks to see him get injured again. You know, he's had ankle injuries, he's had hand injuries, he's had injuries that really aren't his fault. They're just because he hustles and works so hard and tries to, play so fast that things sometimes happen to this player, which it sucks. But I don't think that this is something that's going to stop him. I think it's something that he's going to come back from pretty well. Again, I think him and Dylan Head are in a very similar position, with Victor being older. Yes. I think that they're in a similar place. I think they're very similar prospects, which is why they're ranked so similarly. Head maybe a little bit better because he's younger. That may be my only reason to put Head over Victor Jr. But I think that Victor Mesa Jr. will definitely contribute to the Marlins in 2025. True center fielder, good bat to ball, good player, hustles, athletic, does everything right, says the right things, was in spring training pretty much the whole time last year. He's going to be there again this year. And I think if he doesn't make it out of spring training, he's going to be there sometime in 2025. He's going to be playing for the Marlins.
All right, let's wrap it up with some of the pitchers. I mean, I think that was the one thing that definitely stood out towards the end, starting with Adam Mazur, who was acquired in the Tanner Scott trade. He was one of 4 prospects acquired in that trade. Not him, he wasn't the main guy, but he was, I think, the number 2 guy in that trade. But he did struggle with the Marlins a little bit. He had some very nice starts toward the end of the season, struggled a little bit. A 5.2 ERA with Miami and 9 walks K per 9, a 1.66 walks per 9. I think it was just a lot of hard contact. Again, Jacksonville's a very hitter-friendly ballpark, in my opinion. I know some are saying otherwise lately, but I still believe it's a very hitter-friendly ballpark. And Mazur, I believe, was a victim to that. He was also rushed very quickly through the minor league system, at least on the Padres. And yeah, man, I still like what he does. Yeah, he's kind of like a Max Meyer, who was, I think, just one more pitch than Max. He uses all his pitches as well. His slider's really good. The changeup's good. I like what I'm seeing from Mazur.
Yeah, it's 4 pitches. As you said, the slider is definitely his best one, but it's 4 pitches. It's good. It's fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. I think where he needs to improve is with the fastball. I don't think the fastball is good enough. I think it needs to be a little bit better in terms of command and control. I think he leans too hard on the breaking pitch at times, which when he has to throw the straight pitch, when he has to throw the fastball, pitchers or hitters are waiting on it, and he kind of gets hurt. So pitchers wait out the slider, they wait on the fastball, and the pitch is so straight that they hit it very hard. So I think he needs to improve with movement on his fastball is what he needs to do. So that's my main thing with him is fastball movement. It's just too straight of a pitch. It needs to improve a little bit. But his slider is big league ready for sure. His curveball is also damn good. I think that pitch improved as the season went on from the 50 grade that he used to have. I think that pitch has come up. So I think that pitch is good. Changeup's also improving. I just think the fastball needs to take a bit of a leap. But his major league clock has already started. He's already been in the major leagues. I think this is a player that has a chance with a very impressive spring training, depending on what the Marlins do with the rest of their rotation, which is kind of full right now. Depending on what they do with the rest of the rotation, Braxton here, Luzardo here, whatever it may be. If there is an opening, he is the first guy up for the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy task for someone like a Mazur to crack the opening day roster, just given how many guys are coming back. You have Sandy, Luzardo, Braxton, Edward Cabrera, Max Meyer. You have Ryan Weathers. I mean, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. It's definitely one of the tougher, rotations to crack right now in Major League Baseball, I would say. And Mazur's at the forefront of that. And Robby Snelling's another name who really may have a shot at it. He finished the season at AAA, made 1 start, looked really damn good, joined the Marlins. He was also part of that Tanner Scott trade. Robby Snelling is freaking awesome, Carver. I love Robby Snelling. I thought he should have been a lot higher on our list. I kind of argued for that. We ended up agreeing to put Noble over him, but I thought he should have been over Noble. I know that was our big disagreement on that list. But overall, man, Robby Snelling showing mid 90s, a little bit mid 90s. I would say low to mid. Maybe I think with due time he'll show a little bit of upper 90s, but the secondary stuff is really good. He's getting guys to swing and miss. I mean, it's a bulldog mentality type pitcher, and I think he was just moved way too quickly through the minor league system last year with the Padres, similar to Mazur. Comes to Miami, starts in Double-A, he shoves, and then finishes the season in Triple-A. I am certain that he will be getting a spring training invite, and I'm certain that he'll be starting in Triple-A unless he absolutely shoves in spring training.
Yeah, so my only concerns here, I think he's very good. I think he's going to be good. My only concerns here are a bit of a dip in velocity this season. That's kind of what my main thing is with him, is kind of the dip in velo. Used to kind of be like a mid 90s, sitting 95 up to 97 kind of guy. That, you know, this past season, he's kind of more like 92, 93. So a bit of a dip in velocity, I would say, for him. But it could just be a product of him kind of trying to slow things down and learn the higher levels. It could be that. Who knows? Or just learning the new organization and learning a new league. It could be that. Maybe he's holding back a little bit. I don't know. We would have to ask him. Curveball's good. I think curveball showed better, especially late in the season this year. I think his curveball showed a little bit better. Changeup's there. Yeah, changeup's there. Changeup is good. I think it's more of a pitch that's still in the works for him, but I think it also got better as the season went along. So it's a guy that's improving. He's not going backwards, except for the velocity. That's my only reservation with him, is that he went backwards with velocity. That's it. I think he needs to build on the velo a little bit more, get a little bit stronger, especially as the innings wear on. You know, that's important for any starting pitcher. As long as the velo comes back a little bit, I'm all in on Robby Snelling. I think he's very good.
Alrighty, Carver. An hour and 20 minutes in. I think an hour shorter than the last one. Anyone else you want to know? I think we kind of covered everyone, but if there's anyone else on your mind that you want to throw out there, any level before we wrap it up.
I mean, I think you covered every guy that I was thinking of at each level as a standout. I mean, we could go 5 hours on other guys and, go through guys that we really like that haven't really shown much yet, but that we like for projection. But I think this is a good spot. I think we covered pretty much every standout that I had written down. You pretty much covered it. And then a couple of others that I didn't even have written down. So I think you pretty much got it, Kevin. I honestly don't have any other guys to really add unless you want to go another hour and a half. So maybe that could be for another show. But I think we're good here. This was great. Great job hosting it. I always enjoy talking prospects with you. And we'll continue to have prospect coverage on this show and, of course, on the site on Fish on First as we go through the offseason, Arizona Fall League, Winter Leagues, whatever it may be. We'll have you guys covered over there. But this was great. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's what I have to say for this one. This was great.
You said it yourself there. All right. We'll see you guys all in a couple weeks. Peace out and go fish.